Hello. Oh, there we go. Hello, everybody. Oh, my goodness. Once again, I'm in a place where, I have no idea where I am now. In Wisconsin. Hello, everybody. Good to see you guys. Hello to Kali, Sharon, Pat. Who else do we have? Kimmy. And happy 11/11. Yeah, I was reading the comment also about Jericho, and it's all good. We kind of talked about this last week that fostering and adopting new animals into our home rescues, it can be a learning process for both, and every animal is on their own journey. So I'm sure that everything will work out just as it is meant to work out. So yes, happy Veterans Day. Thanks, Pat, for that reminder. Thank you to everyone who has ever served. It's a wonderful, beautiful reminder for giving that recognition and that thanks today. Okay, hi Sherry, how are ya? Okay, there we go. Now we're good. Life gives us what we need. Yeah, gives us what we need, not what and not necessarily what we want. But wait till I have some things that I definitely want to share with you guys tonight. Some thoughts about what we need versus what we want, and how to actually figure out kind of what that is. And even when it comes to healing, I should have got more water. Okay, hello. All right, so we have Cheryl in the house also. All right, good to see you guys. For those of you who are catching this for the first time, right now I see just the fan club on here. But if anybody's catching this as a replay of the live stream, my name's Elaine, Animal Reiki Master, Animal Chaplain, Animal Medium. This is the SoulPet channel. We are dedicated to helping people heal after the loss of an animal companion, and this wonderful supportive community supports each other in all ways beyond even just the passing of our animal companions. This community is so supportive, so you are welcome to join here and be part of that community. We meet every Monday night here on this live stream, and I made so many notes picking up from last week. So last week we kind of went down a little side conversation, which is all good, but there were some things I wanted to get to, and so we'll make sure that we get to those tonight. And I'm going to be talking about all kinds of things, and I am going to, I guess what I want to do is share my insight about, I'm just going to say, the secret of life, because not that I get it, but I mean, I get it, but not that I understand quite how to do the things that I'm about to share with you. I am still a work in progress, just like you guys. I feel like I'm a student as much as you are, a student of life, a student of navigating this planet, a student of being in a spiritual being in a physical body, and how do we work through all this and all these emotions that we chose to we came here for a reason. We want to experience these emotions, and sometimes when they get a little too dense, we don't know what to do with them. We don't know how to handle them. We don't know how to keep on going. So that's a lot of what we're going to talk about tonight also. So let me check out some comments. I always like to say hello. For those of you who are watching this as a replay, I always say scroll ahead 5 minutes or so before we really get into the meat of the conversation. I am also going to make sure that tonight we do the readings for Zoe and Shiloh. And then Fatima, I know that for yours we will do, that's going to be coming up next week. That'll be coming up next week when I will be, I have no idea where I'm going to be. I shouldn't say that. Right now, my life is in flux, and I'm going with that. It's part of also the message for tonight. I am going with the flow. Wherever the river takes me right now, that's where I am. That's where I'm going. So I'm in, right now, I'm in the Wisconsin area, and tomorrow I will be back in Colorado. And then who knows where I'll be. So we just go with the flow, and yeah. All right, let's see. Who else do we have? Hi, Fatima. The apathy after loss is intense. That's been your struggle. Okay, I'm going to try to help you through that. I'm going to try to help you through that. There's a reason that I do this, and it's because I learned how to work through everything. And then once I did learn that, I became so excited about what all the things that I had learned that I want to, boy, this lighting is doing me no favors. Okay, hair. Yeah, there we go. Pat the hair. I used to, it's been a while since I've watched it, but I used to watch this not a podcast. It was a regular live stream on YouTube. And some of you guys probably still watch Michael Sandler. And Michael Sandler for the longest time had a pet rooster, and the rooster's name was Rue. and he could have Rue sitting on his lap and nobody paid attention. I mean, they paid attention to what he said, but they didn't pay attention to him. They just paid attention to the rooster. Everybody loved Rue. I think I might have to get myself a rooster. Yeah, that wouldn't go over too well. Okay, so I do want to share with you some things that I have learned, and I want to be able to help you to understand these things, because once I learned them, and Lucy, my dog on the other side, is the one who opened the door for me. Nana, my mother-in-law, now on the other side, has opened even more doors for me beyond imagination. And so I want to be able to, that's kind of where this hectic pace is coming from at the moment, but it's all good. I am not letting myself become stressed by the pace that life is at right now. I feel like someone has pressed the fast forward button, but it's okay because I'm fast forwarding to something where I'll be able to hit pause and then play, and everything will be fine. And so it's all good. And I just get so excited to share with you the things that I know can help you not just heal after the loss of an animal companion, but can help you come out even stronger and better on the other side, and be even more, have access to even more tools that will help your life overall improve. That's really what I want. I mean, this isn't just about healing. It's not just about personal development. It's not just about spirituality. And yes, we dive into the metaphysics and we dive into the spiritual stuff and we go down the rabbit hole and talk about the woo-woo stuff. And it's all good though. And wait till I can't wait to share tonight more about the rules and breaking all the rules, that we are the exception to every single rule. Okay. Thank you. I love you guys. Really, I'm not fishing for comments. I promise I'm not fishing for comments. I think this is part of like the human condition also. So right now I can look at my camera and I can see comments scrolling down the side of the screen. And I've got my automatic writing here with my handy dandy Bic pen and my beautiful little line notebook. But you catch a glimpse of yourself and you see bags under your eyes, or you see whatever. And everybody's their harshest critic, right? Or their harshest critic. And the woo-woo. I haven't scheduled the Zoom call yet. And believe me, I have not forgotten. That is like one of the things at the top of my list. I don't want to, but I always want to be able to live up to my commitments. And I have been overbooked and over scheduling myself with commitments, things that, like family obligations, those kinds of things that are very important to me. And so I don't want to commit to something that I won't be able to live up to. So we are going to have a live Zoom call. I will try to make it, what I'll do is put out a little poll in the community. It's been a while since I've done a community post. I'll put a poll out in the community with a couple of selections of days and times, because when we get together on a Zoom call, and you don't have to totally, I mean, and it doesn't cost anything, and we just get together on the Zoom call. It allows us to talk back and forth, so we can ask questions and actually have a conversation. It's not just me doing all the talking and reading comments. So the Zoom calls I love to do, and I want to start getting back to a regular schedule, like doing once a month a Zoom call and picking different days and times so that people can join, and then you can get to know each other even better by connecting on Zoom. And for some people, that's not their jam, and that's okay. But this is also a community that is free of judgment. We just offer unconditional support here, totally free of judgment, knowing that we all go through our stuff and how we can support each other as we go through all of the things that life has to offer us. This beautiful, wonderful, crazy ass thing that we call life. Okay. Here we go. Karen, how are you? I saw your name. I don't see you, but hi, Donna. But I see Karen Lank. Just about the time you heal, the loss hits again. Okay, Karen, we're gonna talk. Yeah, it does come in waves, and that's okay. It's totally okay. Sometimes I'll go for like Winston. I know that my Winston on the other side of life is. I know that he has his continued existence. His soul is exploring different things, and so I don't often hear from him. But every once in a while, like the other day, he had a very distinct click to his nails because he had a heart condition that made it impossible for him to have any kind of procedures done. And his little nails, when I rescued him, they had curved under. So we tried as much as we could to keep them trimmed, but to have them really fixed would have been problematic. But he was a tiny little King Charles Cavalier, and when his little nails hit the floor, they made a very distinct sound. There was no sound like it. And the other day he was right behind me. It was the best. It was the best sound to hear his little nails clicking right behind me on the little parquet floor, and then to sit down and have a good cry that I heard from him, and that it had been so long since I heard from him, and how he was my little snuggleupicus. And that's what I called him, my little snuggleupicus, because he just he would get right under my chin right there, and he went everywhere with me. And it felt good to actually have the good cry again. So we're going to talk about those peaks and valleys also tonight as I go through some of these things. So what is on the agenda for tonight? You love those good cries. Yep, right. It feels good. It just feels good. So tonight we are going to talk about that you hold the key. A lot of times we don't even realize, and you may have heard this analogy before, but a lot of times we don't realize that we have imprisoned ourselves, and the only person keeping us behind bars is us. And I'm using that prison analogy, the bars. I'm using that analogy for grief and guilt and shame and blame and all those things that we have locked ourselves up with all the grief and the guilt, and that we are the ones who hold the key. There is no old white man with a beard sitting on a cloud somewhere waiting to throw a lightning bolt our way. Our animal companions have not gone on to the other side of life just so that they can snub their nose at us and think that we did that we did something so wrong, and they're not going to ever get in touch with us. Our loved ones on the other side, they don't hold grudges. Contrary to what you may hear from other people who connect with souls on the other side, there are no grudges. There's no grudges. There may be personalities, and maybe I'll share one of the stories that came from my personal psychic development coach. There may be personalities still on the other side, but there is no judgment, no blame. There is no ghost waiting to haunt you because of what you did during life, and you hold the key. So that's really where I want to go with this. So I am going to talk tonight, not so much, I am going to mention some of the spirituality, metaphysical stuff. There's a definite hairy-fairy element to this, but I also want to give you some practical exercises. The past couple weeks, I've been talking about our brain and the way that our body is wired. Our body, everything inside and out, is hardwired to not just heal physically, emotionally, spiritually. We are designed for so much more. Our connection, we talked a little bit about the quantum field. We have talked about this Reiki energy we've talked about many times, because that's where I first got my introduction to this concept of an energy that flows through and around us. And I promise I was not a believer. I was an eye roller. But now that I understand it and I've continued to learn, I get it. I get it. So we're going to talk about some of the physical things, some of the ways that our body is built, some practical things that you can do. And then we're also going to talk about some of the spiritual woo-woo stuff. My security cameras have been going off during the night, and you live alone. Think it's Gary and Potato. That is one of the ways, and I just check the comments for those of you who aren't watching this live. I check the comments every once in a while to make sure I'm not missing anything, but I try to stay on topic. But sometimes I'm like I see a squirrel and off I go. And hello, Kathy, and the other Kathy, hello to you too. So one of the ways that our animals can get through to us, we talk about this all the time for those of you. I know there's a couple folks on this evening who may not be commenting. Feel free to comment if you would like to. I promise everybody you see over in the comments is wonderfully supportive. We have no judgment, and we will help you to work through anything. So for those of you who are just kind of hanging out in the sidelines, if you'd like to ask a question, go ahead. Otherwise, we talk about signs a lot because we like to get signs from our animal companions. We like to hear the clicking little toenails on the floor. And one of the ways they get through to us is through things like a security camera. A security camera, I can't remember, I know that it was somebody on here, but it's been, it's been months and months, who sent me this story about the television, the snow on the television that turned on the TV. And it's such an old-fashioned thing to see snow on the TV. You don't get it very often. That black and white, all the pixelation, and in the pixelation, was a clear silhouette of doggy. So it's a way for them to be able to get through to us. Their energy, when they shift out of a physical body, we're going to be able to do the same thing. You will be able to come back and haunt your relatives if that's what you'd like to do. When we leave our physical body and go into the energetic field, we have a whole new skill set. This physical body is designed with senses and emotions. We can touch, we can see, we can hear, we can taste, we can smell, we can feel, we can cry. All of these things are part of the physical experience. When an animal or a person leaves their physical body and enters that energetic field, they have to work with a whole different set of things. They don't have fingertips anymore. So they have to learn how to work with the new energy. And that energy is often most easily accessed through things like electronics, through things like water, clouds, sounds, using our senses so that we can have a frame of reference and understanding when they make a sound or a noise. They can often be seen by other animals. Our human eyes don't have the capability to look off into the corner, but every once in a while you may catch a flash, right? You may catch something out of the corner of your eye. But you've seen dogs or cats who sit and stare up at the corner or stare at a wall. Today, very odd. And I tried to sit down and get a sense of what was happening, and I couldn't. Gypsy, my doggie, who has no eyes, was sitting in the bedroom staring into the closet. Now, she can't stare because she has no eyes, but she was sitting erect and looking as if she were seeing something inside the closet. So I'm still very curious to know what that is all about. But our animal companions have the gift of sight. All of us have psychic ability, which reminds me, I don't want to forget to tell you guys, somebody here has already signed up for it. I'm going to do the Mystic Masterclass, the Animal Mystic Masterclass again before the end of the year. I want to have it on Tuesday evenings. So I'll make a community post about that too, for anybody who wants to explore psychic development. And that does sound hairy-fairy, but it is not. It's because we are wired this way. We have everything we need inside of us to access beyond our five senses and go into the sixth sense. And our animal companions already know this, and they're really helping us. They're really helping us guide the way for that. Okay, so let's talk about the things that I want to kind of give you the keys. Have you recognized the keys that you're holding in your own hand? And this applies to anything, whether it is grief or guilt, remorse, regret, blame, shame. You wish you could have, would have, should have done something differently. You're holding somebody else responsible for the passing of your animal companion, because you're looking to blame. I always say these things without judgment, having done every one of them, having judged others, having blamed others, having blamed myself, having gotten angry, I've done it all. I still do it all, but I now recognize when I do these things, but how to get past those, because when you can rise above, when you can let go of the blame, and the blame is just a way of soothing our heart. It gives us something to focus on when we can point at somebody and say, you did this to me. You made me feel this way. It just it actually helps us heal a little bit by not being just so mired down in the grief and the sadness. Okay. I'm going to just take a quick look at the comment because I saw something flash by about a cat looking at the ceiling fan. Yeah. The fan was off. I love it. I love it. Absolutely love it. Cat Tiggy squeaked a bird toy in the middle of the night. Never happened before or since. Oh, yeah, it is, Kathy. It's a wonderful feeling of comfort. It feels really good when we get those kinds of messages from our animal companions. It's reassuring, because a lot of where we operate from is fear. We are afraid that there is nothing on the other side. We're afraid that our animal companion was the one and only love of our life, and we're never going to feel that acceptance and love again. We are afraid that when we die, that's the end, curtains, that there's nothing on the other side. We fear going to hell because we've been taught that there's such a thing as hell, which there is not. You can historically trace the origins of hell and this giant burning trash pit that it was that got transformed into hell. But regardless, that I went down the rabbit hole for that. I lost my train of thought. Okay. Not sure where I was going with that, but that's okay. So I'm going to explain a couple things tonight, and I'm going to give you an exercise before we do the reading for Zoe and Shiloh. The exercise I'm going to give you is a practical one. I've shared it before in a different way, and I used to joke and I still joke that I'm a recovering Catholic, and I have always said that, even though there's another podcast that says the same thing, which is hilarious. I consider myself a recovering Catholic because it was ingrained in me, and to be able to get past some of those things that I held were true. But we're going to talk about the nuns tonight, and something that the nuns would make us do in school, and that my parents also used as a form of punishment whenever we did something wrong. Because I think that there's something to it. There's something more to it than just serving as a punishment. We can kind of flip that on its head and turn it into a way to reprogram our brain. Our brain cells can't teach an old dog new tricks. You can teach an old dog new tricks. Your brain can learn new tricks right up until the moment that you cross. And then you'll continue learning beyond that. But our brain, our physical brain, has the ability to completely rewire. And we have it wired in such a way, I've explained this before, that we have been programmed all our life up to about the age of 7. And I think that there's a sect of monks who say, give me your child. I can't think of the name of the monks. Give me your child up until the age of 7 and I'll show you the man. Because up until the age of 7, our mind is like a sponge and we are taking in everything, and everything is being programmed into our brain, so that by the time we start our traditional version of education, where we go to school, our parents, for good or bad, for good, bad, or indifferent, our parents are the adults in our life, teachers, clergy, everyone has given us information designed for us to make us think the way that they think. It's why so many people have, beyond many other reasons, but why there are generations of carpenters, generations of doctors, because we are programming our children the way we want them to behave. And I'll use myself as the example and my Catholic upbringing. I was raised as a Catholic from the moment I was born and baptized, and all the things that I went through, all the things that I was taught, all of the church things, all of the confession, which is a whole nother subject for another day. All of those things were indoctrinated in me by the time I was 7. And then you go to traditional school and it gets even more. You do not step out, you do not color outside the lines, or you're socially kind of forced back in and pigeonholed back in to do the things that are expected of you. So it took me a long time, but here's why this happens. There are 2 things. The first thing I've mentioned is, and I'll check comments again in a quick second. The first Gehenna, thank you. The first thing is the reticular activating system. Now, I teach about this in the psychic development class. The reticular activating system is a bundle of brain cells in the back of your head, at the back of your brain, the base of your skull, and it organizes all the information that you see. So we are bombarded all day long. I don't know the actual numbers. There's like 60,000 bits of information that we are bombarded with in any given minute in time. And our brain has the capacity to, with that reticular activating system, our brain has the capacity to filter out that which is irrelevant to us and focus only on the things that are relevant to us. And that takes about 50, it narrows it down to about 50 or 60. So I know that I don't have these numbers exactly right. I'm not the neuroscientist. But there's an enormous amount of information that comes in through all of our senses all the time. Right now, if you look around your own room, what are all the things that you're hearing? Like, I can hear cars outside. I hear the wind blowing. I hear leaves rattling. I see lights. I've got lights. I've got sounds. There's a humming noise coming from somewhere. There's a lot of noise around here this evening. There is so much information that I am being bombarded with. I hear a hollowness. So all that, my mind is filtering all these things. I know what's going on in the garage out there. So my mind is filtering all this information. But if I were to focus on one thing, then I can give my reticular activating system, RAS, it works by default. So it kind of takes the information that you've trained it over time. You've trained it over time to look only for the things that you're interested in. So if you are a basketball player, you're going to be focused on anything that has to do with basketball. If you are whatever you happen to, your person, whoever you are, your personality and the individual that you are, your reticular activating system now understands. It's like we have programmed it to know, okay, this is me. And this is my own little chat GPT. This is me. This is who I am. This is what I do. Please give me only this information. And sometimes when there's information overload, we definitely we have to time out. Way too much information. My reticular activating system can't even begin to process it all. And so we take a time out. So that's the first part, your reticular activating system. If you would like to play with that, you can program it. I teach exercises in the psychic development class designed to get you to reprogram with the information that you see, not to reprogram it, but because I want you to know that you have the ability to control your brain, just like snapping your fingers or clapping your hands or clicking your tongue. You can use your brain the way that it's meant to be used. So one of the exercises, and I prefer the color pink actually, one of the exercises is to look for only green cars. Only green cars. You want to set out and look for a green car. And sometimes this will happen on its own. You decide that you want to buy, you want a camper van, right? I want a camper van. You want a camper van. And you start looking at camper vans, and then you scroll on your phone, and you see a little video of a camper van, the way somebody redid their van. And then you've got 10 videos coming up. And then the next thing you know, you pull out of your driveway and there goes a camper van. And then you pull into the Walmart parking lot and there's another camper van. And they start showing up for you because that's what you have decided to focus on. And it can either happen as a natural occurrence or it can happen over time as a part of who you are. Now, my reticular activating system is 100% geared towards connecting with senior dogs. I didn't set down and say to myself, I am going to now starting to be drawn to senior dogs. But it just started to happen because my clients started to be senior dogs. And I'm a dog person. I love my little doggies. So now senior dogs, my reticular activating system is drawn to them. I can pick them out anywhere. If you wanted to, find a green car. So give yourself the task. Now, I said to myself, green cars, I'll be able to find green cars everywhere. Green cars are a dime a dozen. I want something really outrageous. I want to see only pink cars. And then when pink cars started to come into my experience, because my eyes see, I look, my reticular activating system, I don't have to do anything. I don't have to tap it. I don't have to, all I have to do is say, I want to focus on pink cars. The next thing you know, you're going to get pink cars, pink dump trucks, pink tractor trailers, pink buses. Everything's going to be pink, pink limousines. You're going to start seeing pink everywhere you go. So that's one way. If you would like to play with it, go for it. Tell yourself you want to find purple butterflies. Doesn't matter. Whatever you want to pick, that's one way that you can begin to retrain your brain. Then the other part that I want to bring up is called the default mode network. D as in dog, M as in Mary, N as in Nancy. Default mode network. It's another part of your brain. The default mode network, and I just want to make sure that I explain this properly, even from a layman's perspective, again, not the neuroscientist. The default mode network is like the pre-programmed software. The pre-programmed software of a computer. When you get your computer, it's already got everything is set up to default. And we go in there and personalize it. We set up our laptops and our cell phones and our tablets the way that we want them to be. We pick our color schemes. We know which apps we like. We know we put everything in order the way that we choose it to be. That's what your default mode network is. Your brain already has a default that it goes to. When we have an animal companion who has crossed, or a person who has crossed, it does not have to necessarily be an animal companion. This can be for any soul that has been an important part of our life. When they cross and they leave us in grief, our default mode network goes into gear. It has been programmed since we were little that this is a moment of sadness. Now we will feel grief. Our heart is meant to feel that grief. We have chosen these bodies with these emotions because it's something that we choose to experience. And that feeling of grief, that dense feeling of intense sadness, is further exacerbated by the training we have received all of our life, by every program we've seen on TV about funerals. I remember clearly the first funeral that I ever went to, and women beating their breast, tears flowing, women with veils over their faces, men stoic, men, and I'm bringing these images up for a reason. Men pallbearers, dark suits, somber faces, tears, and tears, and more sadness, and families of sadness, and this I had like I remember, I'm just going back to the very first funeral for my grandfather ages ago. I was like 10, 12. This sick feeling in the pit of my stomach, like I was petrified to go to the funeral, and then to have my mother take me to the clergyman and sit down with the clergy to have a one-to-one conversation. It was reinforced again and again and again how I was supposed to feel. This is how you feel. And so beyond just my own personal feelings, I had society's feelings put on top of that. And those are the things that we can retrain. We can go in there and tell our default mode network what it is we want to experience, how we want to heal. I have an activity for you, how we want to heal, what we want this to look like. This is our experience. And if we choose to cry and cry and cry, then that's what we will do. But for us, not because we think it's what we're supposed to do. We want to rearrange the experience so that it becomes personal for us in a way that we can manage and that we can learn then how to move on and move out of. And when I say move on, I don't mean forget, not by a long shot. It has been years, and Jack and Lucy and Winston and Jake and Bailey and Peanuts, and I'm trying to think of all my beautiful animal companions' names. And when I was an irresponsible parent and allowed my children to get hamsters, and Shep, that was the hamster's name. Poor little Shep. I was not the best pet parent when it came to the little guys like that. I'll be the first to admit. I didn't know what I didn't know back then. So where was I going with that, guys? Okay. You guys do your thing. Restoring a vintage Winnebago. Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. I love that idea. I would love to restore. I would take an old VW bus. Those are the best. If I could figure out a way to restore one of those and get on the road with that, I would do it. So this default mode network, the goal is to get us out of that default. Now, I'm going to keep going before I give you the activity. Or do I want to give you the activity first? I'm going to give you the activity first, and then I'm going to go down the hairy fairy rabbit hole. So when I went to school, Catholic school, and we had nuns, and this was in the 60s, and they would, besides corporal punishment, which was still permitted, besides corporal punishment, they would make you write, and you had to write 100 times. That was usually the number, 100 times. I will not forget my homework. I will not forget my homework. I will not forget my homework. And you had to write it in the neatest way. Like it couldn't be scrawled and scribbled the way that oh my God, the nuns would have a freaking heart attack if they saw that now. You had to write it. So you'd write, I will not forget my homework. I will not forget my homework. I will not forget my homework. And the act of writing it reinforced it. Now, there are some personal development coaches, some manifestation coaches, those law of attraction guys that will tell you to write. I am a happy, healthy, spiritual millionaire. I'm a happy, healthy, spiritual millionaire. I'm a happy, healthy, spiritual millionaire. I have found the man in my dreams. I found the man in my dreams. I found the man in my dreams. I think that they're onto something. I think the act of writing and writing it repeatedly gives your mind, it reprograms that default mode network. So you're taking out the old program and you're putting in the new. Now you can always go back to the default. You can always end up pressing a button that sends you back to default, but now you know it, right? Just like if you would with a computer. So you're messing around and all of a sudden you realize you've got to reset something and you've reset the whole thing. You would go back and you would reprogram things the way that you want them reprogrammed. So it's okay to go through those peaks and valleys of feelings, but the goal is to find the steady. And I think that I have a little trick for you to do so. So besides writing, this is what I would suggest doing. And I wanted to write out an example, and I didn't get a chance to do that. I would take a piece of paper. Maybe I'll just do it right now. I would take a piece of paper and draw a line down the middle. Okay, so I've got a line down the middle of my piece of paper. And on one side of the paper, I would write down all the things. So if I'm blaming someone for what has happened to my animal companion that caused them to cross and leave my life, I might write that. I might write blame. I might write anger. I might write disappointment, not forgiven, not forgotten. Whatever. So I would make a list of those things. And then on the other side of the paper, I would write the opposite of that word. So what's the opposite of blame? Blame. I might just use one word, which for me is a catch-all: forgiveness, happy, release, relief. Terrible. Oh, we're stuck on the nuns, you guys. We're stuck on the nuns. We could tell stories about nuns all day long. Poor Frederick Holton. I'll never forget poor Frederick Holton, who had a bright red hair, and a clump of it ended up in the nun's hand. Anywho, they had good intentions, I think, trying to program us so that we had to unprogram. So anyway, back to the happy words: forgiveness, happy, release, relief, peace, calm. I would write the opposite word. So I write down, I acknowledge them. Acknowledge all those hard, dense feelings that you have. Acknowledge them because you have them, you've felt them, you're feeling them, and you know that you've got to find a way to let them go. And then on the opposite side of your paper, you write all the opposite words: forgiveness, happy, release, relief, peace, calm. And then what you want to do is read them out loud. Now, I mentioned this last week about reading out loud. Reading out loud, the sound, it causes the vibration. Sorry, I'm shaking things here. If you could only see my little setup, I have my laptop sitting on top of a little cardboard box on my table, but that's hey, do what you got to do. I talked last week about the importance of speaking things out loud because of the vibration that it creates. When we create this vibration that comes out of our mouth with words, we are able to say, we are able to chant, we are able to say an animal's name, we are able to say amen, we are able to create this feeling with our voice. So you give these words feeling and you say out loud those words. Listen to my voice as I say them. I forgive. I forgive. I am peaceful. I feel calm. I feel release. I feel relief. And I know that one day I will be happy. You don't have to be happy today. I know, I trust that one day I will find happiness again. This is not the end. It is not over. This is not who I am. I will not dwell on this grief any longer. I choose to move on. I choose peace. I choose to let go of these denser emotions so that my beautiful animal companion can find their way into my heart. And those are the kinds of things that you want to do, and you do it on a regular basis. Now, here's the thing, the heavy lifting. I can give you all the advice in the world. I can say all the words. I can tell you the stories. We can laugh about the nuns. We can support each other and commiserate with each other and virtually hug each other. But each of us individually has to do some of the heavy lifting. We have to do some of the work. We have to do the work. And believe me, I know forgiveness does not come easily. Forgiveness is probably one of the most difficult things that we can sometimes find in our heart. So you just do it until you begin to feel it. I trust that one day I will find forgiveness. I trust that my animal companion is supporting me on the other side, helping me to get to the place where I can heal. Those are the ways that you get to it. Those are the ways that you do it, but you say it out loud. And I think last week I told you, right, write it. I have a dry erase marker in my bathroom. I write things on my mirror. Write it on your mirror, write it on paper, write it on Post-its, put it wherever you need to, and say it out loud whenever you get the chance. Because you are not just, it's not pointless. You are giving you're telling your brain what you expect from it. And then your brain is going to tell your heart, and your heart is going to tell your brain, and you're going to go into that place that I call coherence. I call it the H factor, where your heart, your head, and your, in Japanese system of Reiki, we call it hara. When you are in alignment, when everything is balanced, when it falls back into place. And so tomorrow, so what if it falls back out of place again? It's okay. We're going to do this until we find ourselves rebalanced again. So that's, I mean, the heavy lifting is the thing that I can't do for you. The hard work is the thing that I can't do for you. But I can give you a secret. And that's where I want to go now. Checking the time. All right, we're at 41 minutes. Okay, I'm going to check comments real quick. I still talk to Gary and Tato. Yep, they do hear you, and you can do more than trust. They hear you because they are everywhere, and that's kind of this is kind of a good segue into the hairy fairy woo woo thing, going down the rabbit hole as to why this is possible for you. It's more than possible for you. It's probable for you. And anybody who's listening to this, whether you're on the live stream right now or it's 5 years from now, if you found this video. And I see these comments all the time. If you found this video, it's for a reason. But if you found this video at this moment in time, it's because you're meant to hear this. There are some people who are going to hear my words and not hear what I say. There are some people who are going to immediately hear what I say, and it's going to click, just like it clicked for me. I'll preface this by saying that I'm still a student. I am still a student myself. I have not mastered these concepts, but I am willing to do the heavy lifting. I am willing to get up every single day and meditate. I'm willing to get up every single day and do my mantras. I'm willing to get up every single day and look at my mirror and the things that I've written there. Every single day, talk to my animal companions. Every Monday, come onto these live streams. Practice with my own psychic development teacher. I do all of this because I choose. I am making a conscious choice to change my life. And I don't know why it's making my voice crack and why it's making me emotional. I am making a conscious choice, and I hope that you will make the conscious choice too. So here we go. You can't get it wrong. There is nothing you can do that you can't shift or change. You are not going to get anything wrong. Here's why. This is the secret. This is the secret to the universe. This is the part that there's going to be people who go, well, that sounds nice. This is the secret. That, there was a movie and a book, and then it became all about law of attraction and sitting in your room and meditating on the millions. It's more than that. So much more than that. This energy field, we've talked about this recently too, that flows to, through, and around us. We're all made of energy. It's all around us. You hear the term of auras all the time, auras and chakras, and it is this energy system that is all around us. It is intelligent. It is intelligent. It can be communicated to. It communicates to us all the time. When our animal companions send us signs, that is this energy field, this intelligent, I don't know what else, this intelligent field of all potential that it knows, it thinks, it is, and it is us. It's not some external thing from us. We are part of it. It's like this energy has organized itself into a beautiful body that I call Elaine. And who is Elaine? And how do I become aware of Elaine? And who was Jack? And who is Lucy? Who is Phoebe? I'm going for names. Who is Gary? Who are they? Where are they? They are right there in that energetic field, and we have access to it. Why do we want to use our reticular activating system and our pineal gland and have control of our default mode network, because we want to access all of this, because it is going to change our entire life. It's not just going to help you heal after they have crossed to the other side, because I honor that emotion. I get that emotion. I'm right with you for that emotion. But they're not gone. And this is, again, it's not a platitude. It is a reality. Just because we can't see their little physical body doesn't mean they aren't right with us. And I don't want to go all the way down that particular conversation right now. I want to talk about how you can not get it wrong. I mentioned last week that I'm the exception to every rule. You are the exception to every rule, because there are no rules. There's no rules. We were taught plenty of rules. Our society operates on a whole system of rules. We have to drive down this side of the road, and in England, they drive down that side of the road, and we have to stop at a red light. And when we walk down the street, we walk on the sidewalk. Well, get off the damn sidewalk. Walk in the middle of the street if that's what you want to do. Put your bare feet in the grass, stand up at the sun, walk backwards. Do whatever it takes to shake off the conformity, because when we letting go of the conformity, I hadn't planned on using that word, but that's the word. I always preface this by saying, for the highest good of all, I won't ever do anything that will hurt anybody, but for the highest good of all, I choose to let go of the rules. There are rules about, some of you who have been in my classes, you would ask this question. So what is the crystal that I should use to heal something, to heal X, Y, or Z? There's a book. There's 100 books that tell you that you want to use green crystals. You want to use a red light to activate. You want to use an orange light to clear. You want to use a green light to seal it in. Well, guess what? You are the universe. You are the universe. You are the energetic field. You are experiencing life in your physical body. You have had a relationship with your animal companion, but you, and only you, have the power to change it all. You can do whatever you want. Go with the purple crystal. Drink, have dessert for breakfast. I was going to say drink coffee in the middle of the night, but don't do that. Do something completely opposite of what you think you're supposed to do. Start doing the opposite of everything. Do the thing that you think feels right, because it will always be right. And the rules can change whenever we want. There was a whole lot of upheaval here recently in the US. For those of you who know, in the US, there was on election day, there was we have the ability to shift anything and everything. My reality, I choose. I choose it. I make it. I write it. I believe it. I think it. I live it. I live it, because I know that I am the universe. I am not just an extension. I am not just a spark of the divine. I am the divine. Sherry, you are the divine. Sharon, you are the divine. Kathy, Kali, Laura, I want to get everybody's name. You are your own, not just piece of the universe. And we can all have our own universe. And we can have a multitude of universes. So here's what we do. When there is sometimes, I'm trying to organize my thoughts here as I kind of went off on a little tangent there. We've heard of things called soul contracts. So, all right, my animal companion and I had a soul contract, and we know that our animal companions don't live as long as we do. And as soon as their mission here is fulfilled, they'll go back into the energetic field, and I'm left here to deal with it. I know that I have to navigate my emotions, and I change it. Sit down and write everything that you would like in an animal companion to come back into your life. Write it all down, read it out loud, believe it, dream it, think about it, go to sleep on it, and think about it all the time. Let your brain bring it to you. That's what the law of attraction is. The law of attraction isn't some hairy-fairy woo-woo thing where you're just going to attract it, sit on your sofa, and $1 million is going to find its way onto your lap because you've been thinking about it. Your brain is going to find the way. Your brain is going to bring you the ideas. Your brain is going to draw you. You're not going to know why you're drawn to the rescue that day. Your brain is going to draw you to your next door neighbor's house where there's a litter of new kittens. You are going to be drawn to the things that you tell your brain that you want to focus on. Your brain will find it. It'll just find it. That's the way that it works. That's what law of attraction is. You become a magnet. It's not that you materialize something out of the ether. It's because you call it into reality. You make it real, and your brain will find the way to bring to you those things. And so then you say, but I think I missed the boat. You didn't miss the boat. You'll catch the next boat. That's truly, you did not miss the boat. You'll get the next boat. The other thing that I really drives me crazy when I hear about is if you have an idea and you don't act on it, God's going to give it to the next person to do, and you'll lose out. No, it doesn't work that way. It's also why I think that there is enough of everything. There's not there's not a fixed amount of pie. There's pie for everybody. Everybody gets a piece of pie. Everybody have pie. Okay, let me check my notes before I go any further. I'm gonna jaywalking. Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, don't do anything dangerous. Please don't do anything dangerous. Don't get on your surfboard if you've never surfed before. Don't get drug under by the undertow. Please be safe. Don't light all the candles in your house and walk out the door and close the door. But do things. I would suggest doing things that you're afraid of. Do something that causes you fear. Do something like public speaking. Do something that is counterintuitive. Do something that is silly. Be your silly self. And then when you start to do these things and you take your pen and you write down that you would like to have your animal companion come back into physical existence, and this is what you're hoping for, but you're open to the possibility of the things that perhaps your conscious brain has not thought of. You write these things down, and when you are doing every single day the things that keep you aware, instead of going into default mode, I think we've all been there, right? We've gotten in the car and then an hour later you find yourself at your destination. You go, don't remember making those turns. When you get into, you want to be the one who determines what your default mode network is. You want to be the one who determines what your emotions are, what your feelings are, who is in your life, when they're in your life, and where your life is going. You have that ability to do it. And here's what I know this sounds a lot like personal development, but I'm going to draw it back into animals as I always do, because the animals have come to guide me. They have, and I will not say no. They have come to guide me. They've shown me so many things. Our animal companions are ones that we trust. We trust them. Sometimes, we don't trust other people. We don't trust those in authority. We don't trust some of those things. We don't trust just anybody that we see on the internet. But we trust our animal companions who don't have the ability to deceive us, who wouldn't dream of deceiving us. So our animal companions they've gone, okay, I'll do it. I accept the challenge. I will come forward and I will show you what is possible. And then everything wakes up. It's so much more. We become psychics. And I use that word in the best possible way, because you'll become intuitive. You'll start to see things before they happen. And it's not because you're precognitive. It's because you understand and you're aware and you're noticing, and you've programmed your brain to see specific things and to filter out the things that don't have meaning for you. And that's where we go with this. All right, I'm going to check my notes after I check comments. Do 5 minutes every day for a week, then 10. Okay, I must have missed what we're doing. When I try and meditate, I feel like I'm blocked. That it's okay, perfectly natural, 100% natural, Sharon. I got to tell you, if I could, I would like to split myself clone myself into different things, because I would lead a meditation class, and it wouldn't be any old meditation class, because I used to lay in my bed and try to meditate. So I'd close my eyes, right? I'm closing my eyes, and I would try to make all thoughts go out of my mind. And I would just kind of stare behind the back of my eyes. And the next thing you knew, I was thinking about work. I was thinking about the kids. I was thinking about bills. I was thinking about my car. I was thinking about my nutrition. I was thinking about everything. And I'm like, I can't stop thinking. It's okay. It's totally okay. Just like, who suggested that? Kim. You just want to do it a minute at a time, if that's where you start. And do it for a week at a minute at a time. Just do it for a minute. listen to something, either listen to solfeggio frequencies or listen to binaural beats or just listen to a soft music in the background. Listen to Abraham Hicks. Abraham Hicks liked to listen to a fan. I'm looking at a ceiling fan. Would like to listen to the sound of a fan or the sound of an air conditioner. It gives your mind something to focus on. That's why when we meditate, we talk about breathing. And this is all part of it, guys. I'm not going off on a tangent here. It's all part of understanding how our body is designed for this. When we focus on our breath, when you breathe in nice and deep, your body, your brain focuses on that process of bringing in the air, letting it fill your lungs. And I say, let your lungs go, oh my God, she hasn't breathed like that forever. Breathe in nice and deep, and then you exhale, and then you breathe in again, and you exhale, and then you can give yourself another job. You can say, all right, I'm breathing in the energetic field. I know that I'm part of this field. I'm breathing it in, I'm breathing it out, and feel yourself just begin to breathe with the earth. You know, the earth breathes. Breathe with the earth, breathe with the universe. And then the next thing you know, that little thought has come back in. I forgot to put air in the tire. Nuts. What am I going to do for the kids' lunch tomorrow? Oh, you're out of the meditation. It's okay. So then you either start over again, refocus on your breath, or you're done for the day. That's it. It's good. It's like going to the gym. You're not going to pick up the 50-pound barbell the very first time that you're at the gym, if ever. You're going to do what you're capable of doing. And it gets easier and easier the more you do it. And now I can quiet. And telling your mind to be quiet is like telling your heart not to beat. Your brain has a job. It's meant to think, just like your eyes are meant to see. Your brain is meant to think. But you can tell it what to think, and you can tell it what you expect it to do. So that's another thing for meditation. And meditating, people say to me, I don't need to meditate. My life is just fine. When somebody tells me that they don't need to meditate, that is the old saying, then you need to meditate twice as long. Because it gets you in touch. It gets you in tune so that you are connected and to the unified field. It's called so many different things. The unified field, source, God, Allah, Buddha. I mean, you can give it a name if you choose to. You can call it he, she, Uncle Fred. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you call it. It lives, it exists, it breathes, it knows, and meditation is the way to connect. And then when you connect is when you have that feedback loop. When you have a conversation, I call it, who's the guy? Conversations with God. Neil something or other. Neil Donald Walsh. Anyway, conversations with God. You have a conversation. Okay, you can have a frank conversation. I'm pissed off. I am pissed off. Why? Why do our kitty cats only live a certain meter? Why would you, okay, why, knowing that we are this energy that we're connecting with, but you can say it. Why? I don't get it. This isn't working for me, and I am ready to fix it. Help me fix it. And then watch as everything starts to line up so that things change and shift for you. I agree with you about people who say, I do not need to meditate. I know, but then you can't, I choose not to be preachy. I'm not going to, when somebody's ready to hear it and when somebody's ready to do it, they will. Just like, I mean, it took me, I did not even try to meditate. I was 52. I remember specifically 52 years old when I decided I was going to start meditating, and I'm still a student of meditation. I still try to figure it out, or different ways. I like to practice. I like to practice and play with different things because I think there's so much that we can explore. Adult coloring books. That's the other thing about meditation. It does not have to be sitting on a pillow, chanting Om with your eyes closed, waiting for the beautiful colors and lights and mystical things to happen so that you float up off of your pillow. It can be anything. Meditation is whatever gets you in the zone. Meditation can be coloring. Meditation can be vacuuming. Meditation can be singing. Meditation can be taking a shower, a hot bath, and just like feeling all the tension float away. Meditation can take almost any form. And whatever gets you into that zone, where you, for even momentarily, can quiet the chatter that goes on in our minds. That's meditation. All right, so you are the universe. Everything, there's no rules, guys. It doesn't matter. Color outside the lines. That's what I am suggesting. Color outside the lines. Some will hear this, some will not. I'm just trying to see if I got all my stuff, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the reading for our little doggies. Reticular activating system, default mode network. I think I got everything that I wanted to say. So if questions come up, I want you guys to let me know. Oh, there was one more thing. Pat brought this up. And this is why there's also no rules. Last thing about the no rules. You have access to every angel, alien, ancestor, animal, whatever. The person or the soul that you turn to for assistance can be whatever soul you are drawn to. If Archangel Michael is the angel that helps you feel secure and safe, then turn to Archangel Michael. If it is Elvis Presley, turn to Elvis. Ask Elvis for help. If it is Nana, if it's your animal companion, it doesn't matter. Human, animal, alien. I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you when I say alien ancestor. When I did go to one of my little psychic development meetups, someone was very brave and very bold and did the thing that was counterintuitive and said, I feel like I have a connection to Pleiadians, and I can't tell anybody in my family. What a blessing to be able to have a place to say that out loud. And Pleiadians, for anybody who's not familiar, they're the seven sisters. So the seven sisters is the little star group outside of the constellation Orion. It looks like a little kite, but there's seven stars. There's actually many more than that, but to our visible eye, it's the seven sisters. So whoever, there are no rules. If you are feeling drawn and connected to angels, if you are feeling drawn and connected to ancient masters, ascended masters, Mother Mary, Buddha, if you think that Usui Mikao, who taught Reiki, or if you want to connect with a dinosaur or a childhood puppy, all of them, that energy is there always. It's not gone. It didn't disappear, and it's yours. You're not gonna say, oh gosh, Peanuts, I haven't thought about Peanuts in 45 years. Peanuts is not going to remember who I am. And how do I know what that vibration is? She's always talking about this vibration. All you have to do in your voice is say the name Peanuts, Peanuts, Peanuts. And then I can picture scooping little peanuts up. She loved to have her belly scratched. Oh, she loved to have her belly scratched. She was a little chihuahua. That's it. That's the vibration. Only it's going to be unique for each and every one of us. So it doesn't just have to be animals that you connect with. I happen to be drawn to it. It can be anything at all. You're not going to get it wrong. Okay. And Robbie, my favorite fan. You look 18. Aren't you a sweetheart? Okay. Let's do, because we're over an hour here. I want to do the reading for, where are you? Zoe and Shiloh. So Zoe and Shiloh, we have no idea just what they've been through. I don't know why I wrote that, because this is actually from last week, and this is good because I'm going to go through this now and receive any new insights that come through to me. Zoe and Shiloh were a bonded pair of rescued greyhounds. They came from Australia. And they were rescued greyhounds they were racing greyhounds. So their whole life was spent either running or training or being kept in a kennel. It's a rough life to be a greyhound. It's not pleasant. It's just not pleasant. So they're a matched pair, and their human worries about them. Worries that she did okay by them. Worries that she didn't do enough for them. Worries that they are still together. Want to know specifically, are they still together? The answer to that is yes, because they are bonded not just to each other, but to you. They are bonded to it's like a triangle. The three of you will always be together. And I know for Zoe and Shiloh's human has more greyhounds, has rescued additional greyhounds since Zoe and Shiloh passed. There's something there about that, this beautiful connection that you are helping to save and offer a beautiful life of healing and just rest and peace and freedom that you are giving to these animal companions. Zoe and Shiloh will be there to support you forever and ever and ever, because you have taken on this role of the rescue. And they know how challenging it can be, because here was the scoop with Zoe and Shiloh. Zoe and Shiloh urinated everywhere because they didn't know any better. And more than that, so we thought it was because they really didn't know any better. And so working with them with Reiki, I knew them in the physical. I knew both Zoe and Shiloh. Working with them with Reiki was to help them readjust, to help them understand where they live now, to help them understand what was acceptable, that we don't pee in the house, we don't pee on the edge of the sofa, we don't. But what I got from them this time around was that they never had a place to pee. That's, I know, as blunt as that sounds, they never had a place to pee. There's something more they said about that. I remember this just now. They peed everywhere. It's just that, they needed to know that the whole house was theirs. They understood that the whole house was theirs. And so they made the whole house theirs. And they thank you for that freedom. They thank you for understanding them, for accepting them just the way they were, for understanding them just the way they are. You may still occasionally get that smell. I know it. It's a very distinct smell when an animal urinates in the house, especially in one place again and again and again. It's a very distinct smell, and that smell's there to remind you that they are so grateful that they had freedom and that they had the run of a house and that they weren't forever trapped of a life in a kennel. Afraid of the steps. Zoe was afraid of the outside. It wasn't just the steps. Zoe was afraid of the outside. That was not your fault, and there was nothing that you could do to change that. There was nothing about it being too slippery. There was nothing. It was just a thing that scared her, and she also thanks you for working with her and trying to help her manage that fear. But she never did quite get over that fear of the steps, and it was more than the steps. It was a fear of being outside. Shiloh's a boy, but Shiloh was a prima donna, a diva. And that's how he referred to himself, as a diva. Fussy is the other word. Yep, I'm fussy. But for the same reason, he was fussy and a diva because he could be. It was the way that he got to express his freedom. And it was like if we were just to be all of a sudden free of everything and have complete freedom and understand that where we were was ours and that we were accepted just for who we are. That's what Shiloh wants us to know, that it was all for the right reasons, that he was fussy and a prima donna and a diva because he could be, because he was free. They loved all the care. Oh, they loved all the caregivers. Zoe and Shiloh had a series of caregivers that would come to the house to take care of them. So the veterinarian came to the house, the vet techs would come to the house, I would go to the house, the groomer would come to the house, everybody would come to the house, the canine massage therapist would come to the house. So they want you to know that they were so grateful for they were pampered, and they loved every minute of the pampering. And they loved all the people who came to pamper them. Find a way to that was the message. The message that they had to share, and I get this from I call it the animal collective. It's not just Zoe and Shiloh. Zoe and Shiloh found a way to overcome, and so can you. Whatever it is that you're going through, and this goes beyond any loss of an animal companion. Whatever you're going through in your life right now, and this is not just for their human, it's for all of us. If our animal companions can overcome, so can we. And we just need to, I don't like to say just need, I don't like to say should, would. It's a matter of giving ourselves permission. It's a matter of getting past our fear. It's a matter of doing something counterintuitive, of being free to express ourselves. And if our doggies and cats and horses and all of our beautiful animal companions can overcome, then we can overcome too. And that's their message. Okay, my friends, we got to wrap this up. Okay, Kim, there we go. Arcturians, Atlantans, Yogananda, Isis. There are so many. And it can be people that it doesn't have to be somebody famous. It doesn't have to be somebody, I say famous, but it doesn't have to be someone with a known name. It can be anybody. If you are drawn to St. Francis of Assisi because of his connection with animals, or if you are drawn to, I'm trying to think of an example of someone who does not have a title. But if there is anyone that you would like to connect with, you most certainly can. That energy is there for all of us to connect to. And we can seek help and we can ask. You can come flat out and ask. Just say, I request it, please. I could use it. I am here. And this, remember, we are the Iron Men of the universe. We are the ones we are here on planet Earth, living the life, living the 3D life in a physical body. Yeah, we are climbing the mountain. We are riding the bike and we are swimming in the waves. So they are ready to help us. There's a team of coaches, and whoever you want them to be, you can have them on your team. Okay. All right, my friends, have a great night. It was great to chat with you all. Thank you for joining me. And I will post some things in the community. Oh, it's not going to be till tomorrow at the soonest. But I love you all. And remember that if nobody has said it to you today, I love you. Even if I've never met you, most of you I've never met. Love you guys so much. You are so welcome. I will see you all again next week. And until then, may animals light your way. Take care.